Hello, you guys. Welcome back to my life story, which is too much at times. But, anyways, it's been too little lately. I'm like, oh, I don't have much to report on, and I've been kind of like, ugh, because I don't know. With my life is in a horrifying mess. I don't know what to do with myself. But, as promised, I told you guys I was going to do a haul of my different supplements that I'm doing and talk about the different goals that I'm doing in regards to my health and how that's been going. We're going to do a bit of an update as well. So, this school of thought that I'm currently embarking on, it is very much about increasing your metabolic rate through supporting the thyroid. So, in this system of thought that I've been doing, which it doesn't really have a name or anything, at least not yet, it has a lot to do with understanding that most people in society have a form of hypothyroid or are borderline or have issues with their thyroid. And that happens because of far too much estrogen, which there's a lot of things that raise your estrogen. There's a lot of exogenous estrogens, for example, in plastics, pollutants, lotions, shampoos, right? Just anything that touches you, your clothes, your car, your furniture, your carpet, right? Like a lot of these things have exogenous estrogens. And then there's also food that highly raises your estrogen. And then also things like Wi-Fi, the electromagnetic radiation, those wavelengths, radio waves, that kind of stuff also increases stress in the body, which increases estrogen as well. So essentially, the idea is that we live in a very estrogenic society. Therefore, there has to be things done to mitigate the effects of that estrogen. And that's what I'm doing. So I have a bunch of herbs that I'm taking, which lower estrogen, boost testosterone, and boost thyroid. So there is some medicinal things that I'm doing. And then there's also diet changes, which I talked about in the last video, which, just to quickly put it out there, you avoid unsaturated fats at all cost. And you try to focus more on sugars rather than starches. That's the basic standpoint of the diet. So there you go. You also are not supposed to fast and stuff like that, so I don't really fast. I get up and I eat, that kind of thing. But regardless, I'm not going to rehash the whole diet, but what I am saying is that this is what I'm doing, and I am definitely having effects. So I'm going to get into the haul first, and then I'll show you, and then I'll tell you guys about some of my results, we could say. So, first and foremost, I am taking ashwagandha. So I'm actually going to take these on camera because I need to take them. So ashwagandha, it's an herb that has a lot to do with cortisol. It lowers cortisol. It boosts thyroid function. It has a lot to do with helping stress effects and making your body more, it's called an adaptogenic herb. So it improves your body's ability to handle stress, which is beneficial in regards to things like insomnia or anything involving stress response. So even just feeling very anxious all the time, that kind of thing, ashwagandha is very good for that. So ashwagandha, I take it mostly to lower cortisol, which cortisol and estrogen, they are very linked. If one is high, the other is high, that kind of thing. The next one that I have here is holy basil. So holy basil is also an anti-cortisol, so it's something I take to lower the stress hormones. I'm going to do that too. Now we're going to get into some of the other things. So the biggest, most important herb for lowering estrogen is stinging nettle root. This will lower your estrogen very, very well. Which, like I said, you don't really have to worry about having too low of estrogen, at least the vast majority of people, because of our exogenous estrogens in society and just, you know, the Wi-Fi, everything, plastic, everything, it's just everywhere. So you don't have to be afraid of lowering your estrogen, but this lowers it very well. This is a very strong one. So I take this twice a day. I take most of these twice a day. So that one is also very good for like hair growth. Like if you're a man and you're worried about getting bald, going bald is usually caused by estrogen. So when you lower it, it's good. It's good for prostate health and that kind of stuff. A lot of men do take it for those reasons because it lowers your estrogen, which is good. It's very good for men. Women need to not have it be estrogen dominant, but women do need more estrogen than men. Okay, and then the second one that I'm taking is milk thistle. So milk thistle, this also lowers your estrogen and it helps your liver to process the estrogens. Okay, so your liver's job is to get rid of excess estrogen. So this helps with like fatty liver, that kind of stuff, and it helps your body deal with it. So I take that as well. Now this one is Schizandra. This is a Schizandra, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry. Tincture, I think? I don't know the words, but this is the one that's like alcohol, and it's very concentrated. You take this. This has it has like phytoestrogens in it, which bind to the real estrogen, and it helps your body remove it. So this is especially good for exogenous estrogens, so things like in the plastic and pollution and all that stuff. This especially helps with that. The other ones are more for internal estrogen, or like your body's making it, particularly stinging nettle root. And milk thistle has to do with the liver, obviously. So Schizandra for exogenous estrogen. I don't know if I'm going to take this one again, because I'll see how it is. Like I'm going to finish this out, and then I'll probably give it a rest before I do it again, like I do another round, because that's kind of what you do with a lot of these. You kind of like take them and then you give it a rest, you know, you kind of see. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that. I just take it cold because I'm hardcore, so. It has a very weird taste. It's very pungent. But it's like spicy, sweet, bitter. It's like everything. It's really weird. And last but not least, certainly not least, this is pine pollen. So pine pollen, it actually, it helps raise your testosterone. And it's very good for men, basically. It does have a little bit of a exogenous testosterone, which is interesting. So it has a little bit of that, but it's very, very little. It's nothing like a steroid. It's not like, you know, a synthetic steroid where you're getting tons and tons of testosterone. It's not like that. It's very, very low key. So it's not going to affect like your body's ability to produce testosterone or anything like that. But it kind of gears your body, just like stinging nettle root, it gears your body to spare testosterone and not convert testosterone to estrogen, you know, and like it helps your body balance out the testosterone side. So this is like, I take like I usually get a spoon, but I don't have one right now. Oh, that's way too much. But I usually take about like a fourth of a teaspoon, I would say. And I just take it dry because, like I said, I'm hardcore. It has like a nutty flavor. Like it's kind of like, this is ghetto, sorry. But, yeah. Oh my gosh, I have it all over me now. It's messy if you don't use a spoon like I should have. I should have just gotten a spoon. That was dumb. I'm sorry. But it's very, you know, I got the powder version. So it's very like I said, it's kind of nutty. It kind of tastes like a nut. But it's not bad, actually. Feels pretty good. But that one's kind of a big deal. That one's really good. I haven't done a lot of research on if women should take it, but I'm sure you can do research. You know, I'm sure it wouldn't hurt. In our society, it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of testosterone to balance out all the estrogen, you know. But, yeah, that's basically what I'm taking. So I'm really striving for hormonal balance. I'm striving, obviously, part of it is weight loss, but that has to do with your thyroid. So part of it is just my mood. Part of it is just insomnia, like all these different things. I've had a lot of degenerative things develop over the years. And I'm taking these and I'm changing my diet and I am having some results. So we're going to talk about them. But like most things, it's not all linear. Some things suck. But most things are better. So first and foremost, I want to talk about I have very, 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 very improved mood. So a lot of times, and I do have a scientific explanation for things, when you have a lot of estrogen in your body, particularly, like, especially for women, like if they're taking birth control, because you take copper in birth control as well. So when you combine estrogen and copper, estrogen allows a lot of copper to go into the cells, and copper is very stimulating. So if you find yourself always feeling very overly stressed or overwhelmed or overly stimulated in general, like if everything irritates you, all these different things, lowering the estrogen and the copper in your body by also increasing the zinc, and you know, the zinc and copper oppose each other. So I've been doing that. Like I've been eating a lot of liver, I've been eating a lot of eggs, I've been eating a lot of saturated fats, you know, which saturated fats have zinc. So I've been eating a lot of that stuff and it's been helpful. You know, I'm much calmer than I was. So much calmer. I still, you know, you're sort of like cortisol, estrogen, all these different hormones, they go up at night. And my body is still really out of balance. So at night, I still struggle with moodiness and I still struggle with like anxiety and stuff like that towards nighttime. And insomnia as well. I have a hard time sleeping until almost the morning. But basically, when I started doing this diet and taking these supplements, like over the days, my mood has improved. And every single day, it's improving further. So, like, I used to be very, like, outrage focused, right? Like most of us, like, I'd go online and I'd see something and I'd be really outraged. Or I'd look at something political and I'd be really outraged. Or you're not getting a text from your boyfriend and you're really outraged, right? Or you're doing this and you're outraged. You're doing that and you're outraged. The neighbors are playing music, you're outraged. Which, that still does bug me a lot, I'm not gonna lie. That's, like, the last thing that will probably not irritate me is loud neighbor music. Hate it so much. Still have an issue here because we live in, like, semi-ghetto. Like, it's not, like, full-blown, but it's, like... My mom even said, she's like, anywhere where we can afford it's going to be ghetto. And I'm like, yeah, true. So there's a lot of booming bass and blasting Hispanic music, that kind of thing. So it's, yeah. Some other things going on. I'll have to make a video on that. That's a whole other topic. We'll talk about my neighbors in another video. There's been drama going down. So anyways, with that, you know, that still irritates me. But everything else, like my mom used to irritate me. I know that sounds harsh, but I'm telling you, my hormones are really out of whack. So like my mom would call my name or something and that would really irritate me. Or like I said, the political things, all that stuff. And like I find like my mood has shifted so dramatically over the past week or so that I don't really have outrage. Like when I see something political, I'm like, ugh, who cares? When I see this, I'm like, who cares? Like, I'm a lot calmer. And like I said, with the exception of very, very late at night. At that point, I will be a little bit more triggery, but not during the day at all. Like, and it's so weird. Like, I almost have no interest in politics anymore. Like, I'm so over it. Like, I still pay attention and stuff, but I'm not like I was. That's all I can say. I'm certainly not like I was, because I'm so much calmer. You know, I'm so much calmer. Like, I'm watching cheesy shows like Chopped and 2000s movies like, you know, No Strings Attached or something, like with Ashton Kutcher. I think that's what it was. I don't know. There's that one and there's Friends with Benefits. They're like the same movie, so I get confused. But I watched the one with Ashton Kutcher and Natalie Portman, and I also watched She's All That, and like just cheesy stuff. Like, and by the way, side note, I know this is off topic, but those movies are really cheesy in the late 2000s or early 2000s or 2000s and late 90s. Super cheesy. But anyways, whole other topic. So that's huge. My insomnia, it's going away in waves. It's like it gets better, then it gets worse, then it gets better, then it gets worse. Like, it kind of is like up and down over time. Last night I did go to bed a little earlier. I went to bed around like 3:45 or 4, like rather than 5 or 5:30, you know, like I can get really bad. So that's not totally better at this point. And then the other main concern that I've had is the bags under my eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off. These lights are really harsh here, so it's a good way to show you guys like what's going on with the baggage. But they're definitely improving. Definitely improving, which I'm really, really glad, because having those bags under your eyes, it is a sign of declining thyroid health. So if you ever see people and they have like really dark bags, it's usually hypothyroidism, which I do. I always say it makes me look like an AIDS patient, and I know that that's what I feel like. So I feel kind of like a gay stereotype sometimes, because it's just, I look horrible. Like, I feel like I look like I'm dead. I feel like I look like a zombie. I feel like I look like I'm dying. You know, it's not a good look whatsoever. So I'm having a hard time with that, but I'm doing this and it's getting better. I'm getting healthier, which is good. That's what you want. So I'm really happy about that as well. And then, yeah, I really do want my eyes to look better. I've hated it because I feel like it makes me look so old and just dead, like I said, and sick. Like, I feel like I look like I should be in the hospital. Like, that's not a look, you know what I mean? That's not how anybody wants to look. It's kind of horrifying. So, yeah, so that's slowly but steadily going away. It's a process, but just the overall stress in my body, I think what keeps me going, because I haven't had tons and tons of benefits. Like, we'll get into some of the drawbacks soon. But I haven't had tons and tons of benefits, but I think the biggest benefit is just my mood. And being less anxious, having less depression, that kind of thing, having more energy. You know, my energy is building very slowly, but it is building as each day goes on. And that gives me hope. You know, it's something very different to have hope. Like, and just even because my mood is so much better, like, I look at things and I have hope. Like, I look at some of the political stuff going on and I have hope. I look at some of, you know, the efforts with the panorama, and I have hope. Like, I'm able to get my jab sooner, you know, so I'm getting it sooner. And that gives me hope. Like, things are getting better. Like, and I don't know if it's so much that, like, it's just that my mood has changed, or if things are actually getting better, or if my mood has changed so much that I see things getting better. But either way, it's a good thing, you know, it really is. And I'm in like a kind of a weird in-between, or sort of a rut, because it's like I don't have tons of energy, but I'm also not depressed or anxious. So like, I've had a hard time with content for you guys because I don't know what to do because I'm like in between. You know, it's difficult. But I'm going to just keep going with this because it's going really well. I haven't really weighed myself that much. I haven't seen much movement there. But to be fair, I don't expect weight to move very quickly at all. As I told you guys, my metabolism is so slow that I run cold. So it's going to be a process, but it's getting better. So now I'm going to talk about some of the drawbacks. I have had a lot of acne. Oh my God. And I felt very awkward. I feel like a teenager sometimes. Like like I'm delivering food or something and I drop the food or like I trip or like I'm just awkward. Like I'm kind of a dip, like as I'm doing stuff. I have so many awkward moments, like when I'm talking to people in public, like I literally feel like a teenager. Which, that also goes with a bit of a rising libido as well because like I have, more conducive hormones to that kind of thing. So it's like I have that going on and then I'm like my hormones are all weird, so like I feel like a teen basically. I'm breaking out. I got this huge pimple on my nose and now I have another one right here, but it's starting to get better. But the acne, it kind of does it in waves too, where it's like it gets better and then it gets worse. I have a lot of acne under my arms right here. It's just like a lot of breakouts all over my body. So like very like detoxy, which is not fun. But I started taking activated charcoal because one night I was getting super itchy, which I've talked about that when I used to do keto and I ironically would be burning fat. Maybe that is what's happening. Fat stores a lot of toxins, so when you release it, it releases a lot of estrogen, it releases a lot of toxins. And I started getting itchy all over my body one night, and I had to take activated charcoal because it was like really hitting me that night because it kind of builds over time. So I took activated charcoal for a couple of days, and then the itchiness and everything goes away. It's really, really weird. But yeah, detox is definitely a real thing. And I have been experiencing it. The other thing that I do have is sometimes I actually feel feverish. Now, I don't believe that I have any, thing going on around. I don't have that because I always maintain my sense of smell and taste, and it's only ever at night, and it goes away in the morning. But it is weird because I told my cousin about it, and she actually studied biology in college, and she said that it happens when people's hormones shift. They will sometimes experience a fever. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah. She's like, sometimes like when women have their period, they will get a fever. Some women get that because it happens sometimes when your hormones shift. She's like, so you're probably just experiencing that rather than anything else, which I was like, holy shit, because it's really weird to be like, I'm really experiencing real shifts here, and real changes will result from this. And it's trippy because I've never found anything that actually like really changed things. Like full disclosure, when I used to do ketogenic, I used to have so many issues with that. I had raging anxiety. My heart was always racing. Like, I could feel my kidneys, like, the cortisol constantly pumping when I was on ketogenic. I never feel that way now. Ever. Except very, very late at night. So it's like, it's improving. I know things are going in the right direction. It's tricky. The other bad thing is digestion. Oh my God. Ugh. I think because my thyroid is starting to kick back to life, my digestive cycle is trying to like come back, and it is all over the place. Maybe TMI, but a lot of gas, a lot of, loose stool, we'll just say, a lot of that. But you guys know, like, I'm very, very prone to that as it is, because of hypothyroid. So it's still like kind of raging right now. So I will keep you guys posted on if these things improve. They should improve with time. But as I said, overall, my mood being so much better is enough for me. At this point, having more energy is enough for me. But it is a process, and I will keep you guys posted probably in another few weeks. I'll let you know. If anything else is changing, I'll definitely let you know sooner. But that's what we got. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you. Bye.